AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. The world's greatest snowcross racers take on what's known as the Daytona of Snowcross at Canterbury Park in Minnesota. A big, fast track with plenty of history awaits. Hello and welcome to Minneapolis, Minnesota, a beautiful city and the site this afternoon of Canterbury Park's Pertec Snowcross National, presented by Jimmy John's. Mike Schroeder, Kate Osborne, my name is Chris Hockey, bringing you coverage of this round of the best show on the snow, and we have got a racetrack that needs to be seen to be believed. I'll tell you, this one is a big one and a fast one, our Daytona of Snowcross, but we're just coming back from a great race in Colorado as well. Let's take a look at what happened in AMSOIL's Pro Open class.
The natural beauty of Colorado is undeniable, and the harsh mountain weather didn't slow down the racers. A new record was set for the coldest day ever in Colorado for December 17th. 14 below, and all of it buffeted by 50-mile-an-hour winds. In Pro Open, all eyes were on Tucker Hibbert. The 10-time national champ told CBS he's ready to stare down the pressure of defending his title.
Yeah, pressure gets everybody for sure, you know. I think the experience that I've had and the amount of time I've raced definitely kind of eases that pressure a little bit, and I've learned how to deal with it, but everyone has pressure no matter what.
But in the final Saturday night, the boss was back. Ross, the boss Martin, grabbed the stud boy hold shot and the early lead. The T-Train responded and was quickly on Martin's heels, made the pass, and then checked out. Elias Eschol was a contender for a top 5 finish, or maybe even better, until he reinforced his checker or wrecker reputation while trying to pass Tim Tremblay.
So we had snow, we had wind, and we had great racing, and now this is what we have for the points in AMSOIL Pro Open, Mike.
There you can see Tucker Hibbert with a 12-point lead over Tim Tremblay, and the rest of the way the top 10 are in points. The interesting thing is that the 5 bonus points for heat wins, that's really going to make this battle interesting.
Yeah, it is. Tim Tremblay needs every point he can get, and he's with our Kate Osborne right now.
You have been on the box for the last couple of rounds, in second each round so far, but you need to get on top of the box. What is it going to take?
I just think I need to step up my game. You know, Tucker's pretty fast, and he's been winning the last 2. And I was in the lead, actually, and then he passed me, so I was pretty mad. And hopefully I can rebound from that and get a win this weekend.
It's time to go racing. AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram. Pro Open Qualifier is next on the CBS Sports Network.
AMSOIL Championship Snowcross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Ram Trucks, America's longest lasting pickups. By AMSOIL, protect your weekend. And by Air Force, aim high.
And welcome back to Shakopee, Minnesota. AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram Trucks. Here on the CBS Sports Network, bringing you the best show on the snow. Mike Schroeder, Kate Osborne, my name is Chris Hockey. It's time for the GoPro lap of the day. This is a gnarly racetrack, Mike.
Well, hold on. Here we go. Currently 3 degrees with a little wind. Feels like 4 below. We go into a very, very tight ram turn, and then this takes us back through the far part of the race course. Now, there's a couple of lines here that you can take, inside or outside. We're going to see guys dicing and changing lines each and every lap. There you see an inside to outside line. Now they're through the back part of the racetrack. It's a step up. Then this huge jump here. There you see a double, a lot of them tripling as they were qualifying earlier today. This part of the racetrack can get really dicey because there's a lot of contact that's made down in this part of the racetrack. Now, if you're able to get a ski underneath your competitor, many times you're able to make them go back out further where the snow is a lot softer. They lose their drive, and that means they lose positions. Rhythm section through their front part and across the AMSOIL finish line, and that's a GoPro lap of the day.
Thank you, GoPro. That is a rad racetrack. And it's time to go racing. The Pro Open Qualifier starting lineup looks like this.
Well, let's put some big names in it right away. Cody Cam, Logan Christian, Lincoln Lemieux. You've got Ross Martin. This is going to be a fun one to watch.
About to go racing. Let's go down to the starting line and Kate Osborne.
Well, here at Canterbury, we are at the Daytona, like the Daytona of NASCAR, or the Indianapolis Motor Speedway of the Indy 500. It's Canterbury, part of snowcross. But the big difference this year is this elevated start. It's very tricky for these drivers on whether or not they have a setup for the start or a setup for the race.
Great job, Kate. And you see the starting line right there with 9 sleds across the starting line. And they are racing in Canterbury.
Well, you see that drop down, and again, keeping the line. Look at him working the inside right away. It's Lincoln Lemieux and Logan Christian. We talked about him, being good with hole shots early on here. Let's see if he can keep up the pace.
Monster triples already for every one of the AMSOIL Pro Open sleds. Into the turn right there. You see Lincoln Lemieux with the stud boy hole shot. Logan Christian holds onto a sled. He's right there as well.
Cody Cam right behind them too. And Cam, this is kind of their hometown race. Henches is located here in Shakopee. He wants to do well here in front of hometown family.
Big air like you just don't care on the backstretch. How much do you love that? The action of AMSOIL Championship Snowcross. Lincoln Lemieux throwing snow in the face of the second place racer. That's Cody Cam
Cody
now.
Cam, watch Lemieux now. This corner that they come out of down on the far end, you see him transitioning back into the front stretch. Lemieux out front. That's a place where oftentimes we find some congestion and some big passes made. Back out in front, there's your race leader down in the Ram corner. Lemieux looking good.
Mike, they're doing things they were not trying in practice. People held their cards tight. They're tripling in places they were not tripling in practice. Let's see how it develops throughout the night. You mentioned it though. Lincoln Lemieux is on a rail right now. Watch him triple right here. Giant air.
Yeah, he comes up off that step off and triples over that big jump before they get back down into the switchback corner. Now watch it. When these guys get close down there, that's where we've seen some bumping and grinding. I'm really looking at the snow dust, the way it hangs. 4 degrees. Typically when it's cold like that, it wants to hang a little bit more. It's kind of dicey out there, but yet not as bad as we've seen in the past.
4 laps to go for your leader. Continue to be Lincoln Lemieux. Then you got Cody Cam, Logan Christian, Ross Martin, and that man on your screen. That's Corin Todd. 5th place right now for Corin Todd. Not a great start for that young man, but trying to work his way back up to contend with 4th. Again, Ross Martin and the man right in front of him right there. That's Logan Christian.
Through the FXR corner, and look at Cody Cam. Going to experiment with lines. Goes to the outside. Tries to shorten up that corner. Didn't work for him, and still Lemieux out front.
I'm telling you, Cody Cam is 40 feet in the air over that jump. And I'm gonna believe when he gets back to the trailer, I think they're gonna ask him not to get so much hang time over that jump, Mike. He loses Lincoln Lemieux every time because he's not on the track with the treads in the ground.
We always say sometimes you're faster in the air, sometimes you're faster with your track on the ground. They'll go back and look at this closely and decide if they need to change his riding style just a bit. Lemieux looking strong though. He has the fastest lap of this race. He currently with a best lap time of 47.907. Right now, that last lap, he ran a 48.44 with a 6. So slowing down just a bit, but yet still leading this race.
Once again, we are Canterbury Park for the Pertec Snowcross National presented by Jimmy John's. This is heat number 1 of AMSOIL Pro Open. Lincoln Lemieux continues to be your leader, but Cody Cam has reeled him in.
Yeah, he has. Last lap, it was about a 1.15 gap between first and second place. As they come out of the corner, I believe it'll be 2 laps left to go. Let's see what the interval is. Again, last time 1.15 seconds.
Here comes Cam over the AMSOIL finish line. Cam to the inside. It's under a second now, Mike.
Yep, cut it in half. It's about 0.6 of a second. Look at Cody pushing hard. Now, Lincoln knows that he's there. They're going to have to watch and decide what lines they're going to go. They're playing a little cat and mouse. Lincoln trying to play defensive, and boy, Cody sure likes that inside line.
Cody had the lead for a second. Lincoln gets it back. Big air over the triples. Lemieux back on the ground. Cam to the inside.
Lincoln able to carry a little more speed out of that corner. This is where I said watch it. This can get dicey down in the corner if Cody tries to come back down underneath.
He just did. Didn't carry it and didn't get the lead. Lemieux, as they will now head for the white flag. They're down the stretch towards the AMSOIL finish line. 1 lap to go in this first heat of the Pro Open qualifiers. Cam to the inside.
Shaved off another couple tenths of a second. Cody right there. Look at Lemieux. There's no mirrors on that machine, but it's like he's driving with them. He's trying to cover any line that Cody may want to take to try to make a pass.
It's so incredibly hard for a driver not to change his style when he's holding somebody off. Cody Cam is being as patient as he can, but he's got a half a lap to go. Cam to the outside this time, tries to duck inside. There's no room there.
Yep, they both tripled up, executed it nicely. Here we go, one last corner. Cody's going to have to try to sneak his knee underneath here to try to carry it through the front stretch. I don't think he's going to have enough time.
Around the final curve and down the stretch they come. Lincoln Lemieux with the hole shot, and Lincoln Lemieux will take the win in this AMSOIL Pro Open qualifier at Canterbury Park.
So Lemieux taking the win, Cody Cam in second, Logan Christian in third. I'll tell you what, very, very exciting heat race.
It feels so good, I have to believe, for Cody Cam, even though he didn't win that race, to get through that race and reduce the memory of the accident that ended his season. And they are racing in Canterbury. This is heat number 1 of AMSOIL Pro Open. Lincoln Lemieux continues to be your leader, but Cody Cam has reeled him in. Cody had the lead for a second. Lincoln gets it back. Big air over the triples. Lemieux back on the ground. Cam to the inside. Around the final curve and down the stretch they come. Lincoln Lemieux with the hole shot, and Lincoln Lemieux will take the win in this AMSOIL Pro Open qualifier at Canterbury Park.
Yeah, Lincoln, you were just coming in here saying that that's not what you wanted. How much time did you spend defending your line with Cody Cam pushing you rather than finding your own line?
Yeah, I was really worried that he was going to pass me, but I kept over jumping pretty much everything out there and just not being smooth. And that's what I need to do. I need to be smooth and find good lines and not worry about anyone else.
And there you go, qualifier number 1 in the books at Canterbury. We'll be right back with more coverage of AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram on the CBS Sports Network. A great shot at this fantastic racetrack here in Shakopee, Minnesota. It's the Pertex Snowcross National presented by Jimmy John's on the CBS Sports Network. Kate Osborne, Mike Schroeder. My name is Chris Hockey, bringing you coverage of this, the 5th stop on the tour for this season. Mike, we're trying something new this year that's kind of old as well.
It really is, and that, of course, snow bikes. And a couple of the manufacturers, Polaris and Arctic Cat, have stepped up into this venture and project to try to make a product that people really, really enjoy riding. It's kind of taken off. It's more popular now than it was a few years ago when we tried it, and it's fun to watch on the racetrack.
Snow bike's like a version of a snowmobile and a dirt bike put together, but it doesn't really handle like either or. It's its own animal, and it's a different game, and I'm kind of excited to try it out and get it going.
Now, the main differences between snow bike and snowcross are a couple of them. Can you bullet point them for us?
Sleds, they weigh so much, and the snow bike, it just handles so much different. But I don't know, they're both its own animal. I mean, the snowcross guys, they're beasts. To be a professional snowcross guy is hard, and being a snow bike guy, it's definitely helped that I've been in that pro snowcross thing, and I think it's helped me out with the snow bikes, and I think snow bikes are coming. The AMA is doing stuff, and then Winter X Games too, and I think it's going to be huge in the next few years.
Coming up next, it's the Pro Light Final on the CBS Sports Network. A great night shot of a beautiful city, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Site of the Pertex Snowcross National presented by Jimmy John's. Canterbury Park, just down the road from that bridge. Lots of snow, it's cold, and we're ready to go racing. Mike Schroeder, Kate Osborne, my name is Chris Hockey. And the Pro Light division always brings you great action, Mike, and in Colorado, it was no different. Let's take a look at what happened.
AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram, heads to the mountains for rounds 3 and 4. Aki Pelea, the rookie from Finland, was the top qualifier and battled bar to bar with Nicholas Lawrence and Jake Angove from Jutnik Motorsport. Angove right behind him. He's only about 0.8 of a second behind. So Cole Coutu was within striking distance and landed his first podium of the season. Angove methodically worked his way from the back of the pack, setting the table for what looks to be a superb season-long points battle between himself and Pelea. Racing stopped by their trailer But a Pro Light star was born, Aki Pelea. The Finnish Flash continues the tradition of great snowcross racers from Finland.
Ah! Yeah, star is born.
So this is how the points look heading into the first night at Canterbury, Mike.
Well, only 6 points separate first and second place. Jake Angove's got to have a good night here. He's working hard towards that. Nicholas Lorenz, his teammate, sitting in third.
Yeah, speaking of Nicholas Lorenz, our Kate Osborne is with him right now.
A guy who found a stride early in the season here in Pro Light after winning the Sport Class Championship last year. Nick Lorenz, what has been the secret to getting comfortable early on here in Pro Light?
Yeah, it's definitely the team. We've been working together really awesome. Just suspension working good, clutching working awesome. Just everything's clicking and working awesome. That's just the key right there.
Thanks, Kate. Here's the starting lineup for the Pro Light Final tonight.
Well, your points leader, your number one qualifier, Ty Fair second, Danny Poirier. You see Nicholas Lorenz qualified fourth. Let's see how he does if he can improve himself in the point standings.
Here's the back row.
One name that we don't see in here, Jake Angove, not making the final. That's big news.
Lots of storylines, and Kate Osborne has made her way to the starting line.
One guy that feels right at home thanks to the conditions here is Aki Pelea. This track kind of reminds him what he grew up on in Finland. For 15 years he raced on really icy tracks, which allowed him to develop good corner speed, which will also come in very handy here tonight.
They're about to go green. It's for all the trophies right now. And they're racing in Shakopee, Minnesota. 15 sleds into turn one and a big hole shot right in the middle.
Boy, Aki didn't get the best hole shot, but it opened up on the outside for him. It's able to allow him to move up into second early on.
So
Zach Mason
and Aki Pelea are your leaders right now, but again,
Ty Fair moved his way through.
Remember what Ty Fair did in his second qualifier? He served notice he's here to compete, and right now, he's out front and leading this Pro Light Final.
Yeah, racing for Warner Racing on that Makita Tools Skidoo. He out front. Again, Zach Mason with your hole shot, but wasn't able to hold on to it. These guys really dicing it around. And you look at Pelea right now sitting in second, and I think that Mason is already slotted back to third place.
Max Ty Fair is your leader and putting some distance between himself and second. Important right now because second, third, and fourth are really battling, Mike, slowing each other down a little bit.
Right, they sure are. A little concern there. Ty Fair kind of slapped one in soft, and you watched him as he worked his way here through here, maybe a little rugged. That's giving Mason an opportunity to try to move around the outside. Now, two distinctive lines here. Look at Mason trying to muscle down underneath. He's going to take that little short jump. Does it work for him? No, it doesn't. He just can't make up any ground that way.
Mike, you saw it and you nailed it. That bobble from Ty Fair completely threw him off his rhythm, and Mason took advantage of it. It's a race for the lead right here.
Yeah, and there again, you see him kind of just struggling to get through some of these rhythm sections. You just got to suck it up, and I mean really start focusing again if you're going to stay out in front of these guys, because they're right behind you. They're looking for you to make a mistake, and when you do, Zach Mason's going to be right there.
Ty Fair with the preferred line, but Mason is right on his tail across the end zone finish line. Big air! Mason and Ty Fair to the outside. Mason takes the lead.
Yeah, he was able to get around him there. Now let's watch him as they go back down into the corner, because look at Ty Fair. Ty Fair trying to get down underneath. He's not going to be close enough, and it's going to be Mason out in front early on here.
He grabbed the brake a little bit later than Ty Fair going into that turn, and that's all he needed, Mike.
Yep, so it's Mason out front, Ty Fair in second, Pelea in third, and Jacob Urich along with Nicholas Lorenz in fifth.
How did he get the lead? Let's take a look at it right now.
Man, I tell you what, look at him. He just kind of came into the corner, had a better line, a little more speed, entrance speed into it, and he maybe caught Max sleeping a little bit there going into the corner.
Yeah, since that bobble, Ty Fair has not looked in rhythm. Zach Mason, the exact opposite. And right now, Max Ty Fair has his hands full with Aki Pelea.
Boy,
so there's your leader.
Yeah, Zach Mason looking solid here, though, and it has been a long time since we've seen Zach Mason on that Polaris out of Levi Lavalle's team up front. Now if he can just put it all together, stamina's going to be important as we take and look 5 laps they're working on left to go. You know, Zach's just got to find good lines, stay out front, don't take any real big chances, and try to play a little defense here.
Zach Mason from Gaylord, Michigan for Loctite and Polaris. That number 63 sled got the stud boy hole shot, lost the lead in the first straightaway, and now has worked his way back up front. Let's go down to Kate beside the racetrack. Kate?
The things that we've been talking about here that's extremely important is the lack of visibility. If you're in the front, you're not having to deal with this, but right now, it is so hard to see, even on the sidelines, not even imagining what it's like for these guys to see through this light powder coming that's just hanging in the air right now.
Mike, you told me before the race tonight that snow dust was going to be hard, and you nailed it. You saw the great shot behind Kate there. It's everywhere.
Yeah, and the reason is it's cold. The snow, it's dense, it's going to hang, it's not going to move, and that's why, when it's really cold like this, you hope for just a light breeze, which is going to take and hopefully move the snow. Like she said, out front, you got much better visibility. You can see right now as Zach Mason comes around the corner, you see the snow dust hanging. Now you see him in front of the racetrack. He's got good visibility. The further back you go in the field, the less visibility they have.
Mike, it is 2 degrees ambient temperature right now, and that's not talking about the wind chill, especially when you're 30 feet in the air over a jump. Zach Mason still in the lead with 3 laps to go, about 2.5 now. It's still Mason and Tyfair with Pelayo right now, again, right behind Tyfair, looking for that second place spot.
Tyfair about a second behind Mason. Pelayo about a half a second behind Tyfair, and then you got Lorenz, and he's trying to get in the mix as well.
Big air for Lorenz, and suddenly he's contending for the last podium spot.
Well, Lorenz, we've seen just the opposite out of him earlier in the year, especially in Colorado. He was up front, he was on the podium, and then he faded, and that was one of the questions that was asked, are these races a little longer, a little more demanding than when he was racing in sport? Now you see him picking up the pace here a little bit, trying to get on the podium.
Over the AMSOIL finish line, they see that they've got 2 laps to go in this, the Pro Light Final. It's Mason, it's Tyfair, and that's the battle between Pelayo, and now it looks like Lorenz might have gotten around him. The battle continues. Now didn't quite get him there. It looked like he had a shot at the inside.
Yeah, no, that was Tyfair's sled with the yellow running boards on it. It's still going to be Tyfair sitting in second. Zach Mason now with about a 1.4 second lead over the field. There you see Zach right there. Boy, Tyfair's got his hands full because Pelayo is almost right behind him.
You were right. There's no doubt. That was Pelayo almost reeling in Tyfair for the second spot. But through that Pertec final turn, the white flag is about to wave. 1 lap to go for Zach Mason. I'll say it again. He got the stud boy hole shot, lost the lead on the first lap, and has taken it back. But the battle for second, third, and fourth now rages, Mike.
You bet. Tyfair goes outside. Look at Pelayo on the inside, and Lorenz going with him. Well, Pelayo's going to get around Max Tyfair. Let's see if Lorenz can. Nope, he just couldn't have the position. And, sometimes you just got to really be a little cautious as you go into the corners that hard. He backed off, Nicholas backed off a bit. Probably saved himself from getting into some real trouble there.
I'll tell you, this might not be over for him, though. He needs to be patient and see what happens, because that battle for second here is about to get serious. They're heading for the final 2 turns. It's Tyfair, Pelayo, and Lorenz as the leader. Zach Mason heads for the finish line. Headed for the checkers at Canterbury Park. Your winner will be Zach Mason in the Pro Light class, and holding on for second is going to be Aki Pelayo. And then Nicholas Lorenz, Tyfair, in the final turn, went from second place to fourth and off the podium.
Boy,
that's the Pro Light division right there.
Got him by 24 100ths of a second. That is tight racing. Very tight racing.
And I'll tell you, high fives all around in celebration. Let's come back after a short break, catch our breath, and talk to our winner, Zach Mason. This is the best show on the snow. It's AMSOIL Championship Snowcross, powered by Ram on the CBS Sports Network. And they're racing in Shakopee, Minnesota. 15 sleds into turn 1 and a big hole shot right in the middle. Max Tyfair is your leader and putting some distance between himself and second. Important right now because second, third, and fourth are really battling, Mike, slowing each other down a little bit. Tyfair with the preferred line, but Mason is right on his tail across the AMSOIL finish line. Big air! Mason and Tyfair to the outside. Mason takes the lead. Headed for the checkers at Canterbury Park. Your winner will be Zach Mason in the Pro Light class.
What an incredible celebration it was down here. Zach Mason, congratulations to you and your entire team. You left here the last 2 times hurt, and you came in, and I heard you beat this place. Put this moment into words.
Canterbury's been really good to me over the years. The last couple, it's been not so good, but tonight it was awesome. Glennie, he's in Casey, and all the guys, Team of Volley, they've worked their butts off for this, and I've been struggling a little bit the last couple of races, but we got off to an awesome start, and yeah, it was so much fun. I can't thank everyone enough. Team of Volley, Loctite, Polaris, Red Bull, Mystic Lubricants, Fox Shocks, FXR, keeping me fresh, looking good, warm. Guys at Polaris, Junior, Bob, Brad, Ben Hayes, all those, Rick Bates, engineer, and helped build this thing, and just everyone. I can't thank them enough. This is, it's kind of feels like it's been overdue, but I know I put in all the work this summer and made it happen.
So excited, and deservedly so. Zach Mason wins the Pro Light Final, Mike.
That's been long awaited for him to get back on the podium. You can be sure that everybody at Levi LaValle Racing very, very excited on that win.
There's your Pro Light Final results. It's time for the AMSOIL Pro Open Final. We'll be right back on the CBS Sports Network.
AMSOIL Championship Snowcross on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Ski-Doo Snowmobiles. What matters is what's next. By Arctic Cat, share our passion. And by Polaris, terrain domination.
Tremblay, meanwhile, has reeled in Peter Nosa, the 54 sledger leader. The lead's down to just over a second, Mike. Mike, great point. And Tremblay with big air. He'll look to the inside of Narsa. He's got the lead. A lot of snow in his face right there. Doubles for Tucker. He's in the third over the AMSOIL finish line as the white flag waves.
Corn isn't going to let this go, though. Watch that.
Oh, Tucker and Corn. Both off their sled. Contact in the air. Tremblay's the fastest guy on this track by a wide margin tonight. Yeah. Some of the great racing that's already happened here in Canterbury Park tonight. And you saw the crash right there with Tucker Hibbert. I'll tell you, that led him to the last chance qualifier. You don't see that very often.
No, you sure don't. And there you see the points before the Pro Open Final. Tim Tremblay came in with a deficit of 12 points. He's made that up. He's now leading by 6. Couple of things. Winning that heat race, that's at 5 bonus points. We talked about that. But one has to wonder if that crash between Corn Todd and Tucker Hibbert is going to affect Tucker at all.
Last year we had a big crash here that changed one of our drivers' season, and that driver was Cody Cam. And Cody Cam went off the track. Oh no.
He was over too far, cased it.
Cody Cam, hard off the racetrack, grabs his leg immediately, and that was the injured leg he grabs. Hopefully he's all right.
You're back, you're feeling good. What is it going to take this year to win?
Just ride smooth and be smart. I used to take a lot of crazy chances, and I still do once in a while, but sometimes they work great and sometimes they don't work at all.
Cody Cam is a phenomenal talent. He's a great kid. He's been with us for a number of years. He has a real natural ability of finding fantastic lines on the track that people haven't seen yet, and he uses those to his advantage because those lines come and go so fast.
Cody's great. I absolutely love watching him. He's got a style that's unbelievable, and he's got a little hard on equipment, but that's okay. We love him.
Well, you heard him say it there. Cody Cam, hard on equipment sometimes, but we love him. Had an equipment malfunction earlier that put him in the LCQ.
I think the biggest thing that he said, though, is that after his accident, I think he races much smarter.
10th on the starting grid. Here is the Pro Open Final starting lineup.
Lincoln Lemieux, Tremblay, we talked about the 2 Shearing Speed Sport sleds running together. Well, they rated 1 and 2 as far as qualifying.
Here's your second row.
Tucker Hibbert qualifies 10th, something we typically don't see. Let's see what he can do from the back row.
Pressure is mounting down at the starting line, and that's where Kate Osborne is.
Canterbury has been known to be a turning point in championship points. Like last year, Cody Cam and Tucker Hibbert came in to Canterbury tied for the championship. Well, Cody Cam had a pretty unfortunate incident that happened. Tucker Hibbert finished first, and Cody Cam still came out on top. Both of them were in the LCQ that got them into the final. It'll be really interesting to figure out what happens here as we go racing.
The Pertec Snowcross National, presented by Jimmy John's, is about to go green. And they're racing at Canterbury Park. 15 sleds into turn 1.
Everybody trying to find the line. Pretty decent.
Is that Ryan Springer with the stud boy hole shot?
Early on, let's take a look who's out early. Ryan Springer is your race leader.
What a hole shot he got.
You know, here again, Springer out of that Sportec Racing machine or Sportec Racing team has not had the best of year. And now out front, this has got to be huge for those folks out of that trailer.
Look how far out front he is. The battle right now is Redheim and Ross Martin for second. Right behind him, Elias Ishawal with a great start, up to fourth, and Kyle Pauline in fifth. Wondering where Tucker's at? He's back in ninth right now.
Yeah, but look who's ahead of him, running sixth and seventh. Lincoln Lemieux and Kim Tremblay. So they are running together. Let's watch as this race shakes itself out. Ryan Springer is your leader. Ross Martin right behind him. And like we said, Ross Martin was on the podium in the last round.
And here comes Lincoln Lemieux up to third place already for the 13 sled. Ryan Springer, though, out of Crown, Minnesota, is your leader as we speak.
And something wrong with Kim Tremblay's sled. Tremblay has fallen all the way back to 14th position. So a tough break for your number 2 qualifier, Kim Tremblay, having problems. Again, though, let's take a look out of the back row. Tucker Hibbert now running in 6th.
Your leader continues to be Ryan Springer. The battle on your screen is Ross Martin and Lincoln Lemieux. Lemieux, the 13, Martin, the 837. That's your battle for second. All night long, Lincoln Lemieux has been the leading contender, the fast qualifier going into the race. He's got 2 guys in front of him, keeping him from that championship tonight.
And he's starting to make a move on Ross Martin. He's been watching the way Martin goes through that part of the racetrack and looking at that line. He may have summed something up, and it's going to be fun to watch him go down the back part of the racetrack.
We've got a rider off the track. That was Lincoln Lemieux. Lemieux went off the track in the FXR turn. So Ross Martin gets away, and I'm not sure what happened. I looked up, and Lemieux was literally off the track. He gets back on, I believe, in 5th place. But now it goes Springer, Martin, and Ishawal. I'm being told 4th place right now for Lincoln Lemieux.
Ishawal will be in 4th if that's Lemieux right behind him. Boy, something just happened.
A miscalculation, yes. We'll set the scene for you as they cross the finish line. Springer continues to be your lead. What a story for Ryan Springer. Ross Martin in 2nd. Lincoln Lemieux back on the track, continues to run 3rd. Cody Cam in 4th, and Tucker Hibbert now continuing to run 5th.
Boy, things really shaking up here as they continue to make circuits around this very demanding racetrack. And, you know, what happened to Lincoln, we can only speculate. Was it a visibility issue? Did he have problems in that part of the racetrack? Or whatever, we can't really say.
Yeah, we'll find out more as we see the replay later on. But right now, we can't go away from the race between Ross Martin and Lincoln Lemieux. And look at this, Cody Cam and Tucker Hibbert.
And there's the Elias Ishawal right behind the sled of Ross Martin.
That's right. So there's the 200 sled, the young man we've been talking about all night, having his rookie season. And Ishawal's got a problem with his brake. Take a look at what you're seeing there. Why is his brake red?
Well, let's take a look real closely. We're going to be able to see on the left side where the brake rotor is on all these sleds. So watch as he goes around here as you see him. Now, it's a couple of different things. One is that he's riding the brake. Some drivers ride the brake a lot more than others, which means that they've continually got their finger on it, and you can see it glowing there. And again, you know, we've seen this at different racetracks where the brakes are used a lot. Apparently, Elias using his brake a lot here. Could that be a problem? Very much so, because once that heats up, the structural integrity of that brake just starts to fail, and over a period of time, it could actually crack and let go.
He is running 3rd right now and having a great, maybe his best race of his young AMSOIL Pro Open career. But can he run this many laps with brakes on fire like that? The young man in 3rd trying to chase down Ross Martin. But the story, let's not forget to talk about it. Ryan Springer has led 6 laps in this final tonight. Ryan Springer is leading the Pertec National right here in Shakopee, Minnesota.
Got a great run going. He just needs to just stay focused. Whatever he's doing, it's working well. Ross Martin right behind him. There you see Ishawal.
take a look at this again. We maybe we're seeing.
I think he's not. You know, we're looking at where he's at, and we're watching the scoring. So
it's definitely glowing orange.
Remember that the transponders on these sleds all have to be mounted in a certain location. That could be mounted in a location where the heat from that actual brake disc is affecting the transponder. So we're going to want to make sure that we check with the hand scoring as well as we do watch our telemetry here, because we're not seeing right now where Ishol should be if he's currently in third place.
I'll tell
That's
you what,
where we believe he is.
What a thing that's happening right now, though. Once again, your leader is Ryan Springer. The young man shot out of a cannon, gets the stud boy hole shot. Nobody expects it, but he's your leader. But here comes the boss, Ross Martin, the cagey veteran, just sitting back there. But here comes Ishol.
Ishol deciding he needed to make the move.
And he got it.
And he gave him ample room. That's the big thing, you know. A lot of these pros are somewhat worried about how Elias is going to pass him, if they're going to give him room and things like that. That was a good racing move. He got on the outside. He gave Ross plenty of room and got around him.
We got to go down to Kate at trackside and then get right back to the battle for the lead, because here comes Ishol. Kate.
Elias Ishol, somebody who's getting extremely comfortable on that sled. We can see that he is racing out there as best as he can go. He told me that when he is having fun is when he performs the best. And right now, I'd put money on it that he is having a good time.
We have seen this, Kate, so many times with Elias Ishol. So fast, he takes the lead from Springer. Elias to the lead.
Springer trying to counter back underneath, but not able to do so. Now the big question is, Elias is out front. Can he hold on? But the bigger question is, will his equipment last?
5 laps to go, and now the battle is between Springer and Martin for second, as Elias Ishol, in his rookie season, the kid out of Norway who's 17 years old, is your leader at Canterbury Park. Second place, though.
Springer.
He did.
Yep.
So Springer starts to fade just a little bit. You wonder if it's starting to wear on his elbows, wear on his wrist a little bit as we get later into this race.
And look at Lincoln Lemieux coming on. Lemieux now has seen that Springer may be getting soft, and so he's trying to get back into the hunt here and trying to get up towards the podium.
Meanwhile, back up front again, there's Ross Martin, there's the battle for third, but there's Elias Ishol. The young man has been known since the beginning of his career in AMSOIL Championship Snowcross to be all over the track. Right now, he's leading. This continues to be your battle for second and third. Third and fourth, that's Ryan Springer almost off his sled.
Little contact there. Springer almost coming off his sled. Both of them able to gather it back up. Now Lemieux on the inside, and watch him as he comes back across to the outside, able to get around Springer. Cody Cam right behind him too.
That's right. So now let's set the field once again. It's Elias Ishol, Ross Martin, and now Lincoln Lemieux into third, and Cody Cam's about to give Ryan Springer all he wants for that fourth place spot. But there's a battle beginning to brew. Elias Ishol, your leader right there. Here comes the veteran, Ross Martin, once again, knocking on the door.
You know, I would think that where Ross is at, Ross can see Elias's sled, and he knows that Elias may have problems further down the road here with his brake. So, you know, trying to stay close, trying to make a pass, but yet, you know, trying to keep the rest of the field behind him.
3 laps to go for your leader. Meanwhile, right there is a battle for fourth. Cody Cam, the 53, looking to try to find his way around the 541 of Ryan Springer, the stud boy hole shot guy, the guy who led 8 laps of this race. Now Cody Cam right there. Behind him is Tim Tremblay. If you're wondering where the 10-time champion is, Tucker Hibbert currently in 9th. That battle continues. Springer to the inside, Cam to the outside.
That jump there, and you watched him as they almost went bar to bar. There is Cam right behind. Oh, and he got into the back of him a little bit.
Pushed him off his sled almost.
He did. He gave him a little nudge behind, and look at that. Lincoln Lemieux went, see ya, and he got around both of them.
So, Tremblay right there. The 11 sled.
That is Tremblay.
Yes, it is.
So that's, you know, you watch him as he's going around. He's worked his way that far back up.
So let's set the field once again.
Wow.
Elias Ishol continues to lead, now with 2 laps to go. So it's Ishol, Martin, Lemieux, and Tremblay, and Cody Cam. But there's the young man, the 17-year-old phenom. This year he's learned so much in his short amount of time in AMSOIL Pro Open. Can he learn to have the patience to win this race from the front? Not always as easy as it sounds, Mike.
Looks over his shoulder to see where the rest of the field is. Man, he's just kind of keeping his fingers crossed that those brakes hold on. There's Ross Martin. When he goes up in the air, watch his track. Did you see that track stopping? Every time that track stopped, he's wearing that brake more and more. Martin coming across there, another lap.
Elias Ischul is now less than a lap away from his first ever AMSOIL Pro Open feature. That's the battle right there for third.
Yeah.
Tremblay inside his teammate for that final podium spot. Lemieux almost off his sled.
Boy, look at him. Oh, a little contact between the teammates. They're not done yet.
They are not, and we talked about cooperation, but all bets are off when it comes to the final lap, which we are on right now at Canterbury Park in Shakopee. The battle continues to rage, but up front, I'll tell you, Elias Ischul is about to rewrite the history books. Out of the Pertec final turn, and headed down the final stretch, and down the stretch he comes, 17 years old, from Norway to the winner's circle. The flames in the air for Elias Ischul at Canterbury Park. Ross Martin will come across in second, and Tim Tremblay will hold on for a well-earned third place. That was history being made at Canterbury Park. The young phenom lived up to the promise tonight in race number 5. We'll talk to him when we come back. This is AMSOIL Championship Snowcross powered by Ram on the CBS Sports Network. And they're racing at Canterbury Park. 15 sleds into turn 1. What a thing that's happening right now, though. Once again, your leader is Ryan Springer. The young man shot out of a cannon, gets the stud boy hole shot. Nobody expects it, but he's your leader. But here comes the boss, Ross Martin, the cagey veteran, just sitting back there. But here comes Ischul. So many times with Elias Ischul. So fast, he takes the lead from Springer. Elias to the lead. And headed down the final stretch. And down the stretch he comes. 17 years old, from Norway to the winner's circle. The flames in the air for Elias Ischul.
Well, a guy who definitely deserved that win. It is your first true Pro Open season, your first win in Pro Open. It was history in the making, basically, for you. But one thing I wanted to say, Elias, you had "Breathe" written across your sled. Why is that so meaningful, and why did you want to have it on there?
Just to remember to breathe and ride, and just ride how I know I can ride, and nothing more and nothing less, and just try to find some good lines and be fast out there.
So the first night at Canterbury is in the books, and it was historic. Here's how they finished, Mike.
Boy, huge win. First pro win for Elias Ischul. Ross Martin, it's his second round in a row that he's been on the podium. And Tim Tremblay coming back from last place to take a third place finish. Look at Tucker Hibbert down there in 10th spot.
He worked for it, and it led to this. Here's the points.
Tremblay came into the weekend 12 points out of the lead. He leads 15 points ahead in the point standings. It's only going to get more interesting.
Speaking of interesting, the Pro Light class always interesting, and tonight's Pertec fastest lap goes to Max Tyfair.
Tyfair, just a tough break there. Otherwise, he would have been on the podium, ended up finishing fourth.
So much racing to happen. Follow us at snowcross.com, on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and on twitter.com/snowcross. So much racing to go. Deadwood, South Dakota on the 20th and 21st of January. Salamanca, New York. Mount Pleasant, Michigan. And for the first time, we go to Iowa this year, Mike. Looking forward to that very, very much before we wrap up the season in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. You can always catch us right here on the CBS Sports Network. Of course, this coming up January 21st. Then you got the 28th as well, more Country Cat. Then the 5th and the 12th, you'll see the Deadwood Snowcross. So make sure you stay tuned on the CBS Sports Network. For Mike Schroeder, Kate Osborne, and our entire crew, my name is Chris Hockey. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a presentation of the CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.